height about 20 inches, stem solitary, about a ½ inch in diameter, about a ½ inch in diameter, stem solitary, green, the rings about a ½ inch in diameter, 3/4 of an inch apart, the rings about 3/4 of an inch apart. Flower-bearing branches are about 6 or 7 in number. And it turns green when it's in flower. The fruits are orange, black, fruit, shiny, about a 1/4 inch in diameter.
On the outside, Don Hodell's life seems ordinary. Life is anything but ordinary. Having been employed by the University of California Cooperative Extension for over 20 years, Don Hodell is one of the most trusted plant researchers in the world. Often armed with nothing more than a canteen of water and a machete, he has explored some of the most dangerous and remote jungles on Earth. He has discovered new species of palms and continues to experiment and research these ancient plants. What makes Don Hodell so special, however, is his ability to precisely locate these plants, oftentimes using nothing more than his intuition.
I have a sixth sense about where a certain plant is I'm looking for, and it's almost like an out-of-body experience, and it's almost like it's magical. It's a magic thing, and I can't explain it. I just feel very fortunate that I have it. I think I have a very special relationship with plants, and I don't talk about that very much, and I don't feel more important than other people, but I just feel like I have this special relationship. It's like sometimes it's like magic. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not.
Why is it there only sometimes?
I don't know. It's like karma, I think. If you live right, the magic will be there.
We've been trying to find this palm right here since 6 o'clock this morning, and we think we're now within 1 kilometer of it. The question is, can we find it? We're way up in Rincon de Osa on a road that people say we couldn't drive on, and we have. And we're within 1 kilometer of this palm, at least where it was collected once. Chamaedorea tenella, the true Chamaedorea tenella. I hope we can find it. We're setting off right now on foot, one kilometer more, because we can't drive anymore. There's a big river crossing the road. We hope we can find this palm.
When a certain plant needs to be found, Don Hodell is the first person considered for the job. Oftentimes, little is known about the plant he must find and collect for future research. He studies documents up to hundreds of years old and is one of a small group of people in the world who is able to decipher their ancient botanical Latin. He then predicts where a plant may be found before having a sponsored trip set in motion and being whisked to the exotic locale. Once on location, various locals give him clues to where a plant may be found or where related plants may have been seen. Other times he works alongside colleagues, and on one occasion he was escorted by military officials armed with guns since he was searching near a bordering country. Once in a forest, a feeling, an instinct tells him where to go, Adventures include walking barefoot through bat-ridden Thailand temples, eating nothing but rice for 5 days before bedding down on leaves in a leech-infested forest, and having to drink ceremonial juices made of human saliva before entering a jungle. Although Don now travels with colleagues, his earlier trips often included his videographer wife and his 2 young children. I'm the youngest. I was then 3 years old. At the time, the miles of walking, or often in my case, the miles of being carried, was boring, but always magical. Back then, I did not understand what exactly my parents were doing, but just knew that it was very important and that the jungle meant something to my father. For every specimen he collected, he carried back as carefully as he carried me. Although I do have a few fleeting memories of the exotic towns, new people, the humid smell of the fresh forest floor, the cool water from my father's canteen, most of all, I remember when he found what he was looking for.
Well, we found it. Chamaedorea tenella, the true tenella. We got some seeds and some leaves. 4 seeds to be exact. 4 seeds. And there's the leaf. Usually the plant has about 10 to 12 of these leaves on it. And there weren't many. We only found, after 2 hours of searching, only about 6 or 7 plants. And 4 seeds.
After all these adventures, who exactly is this jungle man, and what does he do? My father is an environmental horticulturalist for the University of California Cooperative Extension. He does applied research and educational programs that extend information to landscape horticulture and commercial landscape industries in Los Angeles County. These are people who design, install, and maintain landscapes for a living. He also helps municipalities and government agencies and has a public service component to his work. He directly helps consumers. These are people who do not work in horticulture for a living. Instead, they're gardeners and hobbyists.
We have a little break in the weather here, so I thought Yvonne and I thought we would come out here and start out here. So I don't want to waste any time. I get started right away.
Good idea.
How are all you today?
Very well.
My name's Don, and I usually give this class every January. But what I'm going to talk about today is pruning. This one's coming up over here. I'd probably head that back. These are going to take over. One here, one here. They're too crowded, so I'd take that out. I don't know, I think I would, well, there's a couple of potential spurs there. I would take this out for sure. Take that out.
And I have so many little possums and skunks that run around and dig in the garden that they just go dashing through. They don't care about my strings. They broke branch.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, you might have injured skunk and possum parts around your backyard. Well, it's good to see you again.
Yes, and you did for the palm tree or something that specialized in...
Yeah, I do a lot of work with palms.
Yes, I think so. I've heard that you are the expert on that.
Well, expert scares me.
Yeah.
An expert he is, at a young age he had already memorized thousands of botanical Latin names, and since then has discovered many new species of palms. Although he goes without a PhD, his knowledge is so accurate and extensive, he is considered a doctor of Chamaedorea palms.
These right here I discovered in Honduras, and I named them. It's Chamaedorea frondosa. Frondosa in Latin means full of leaves.
With the broad sigmoid leaflets. The leaf bases are speckled with white. You see the inflorescence coming up from below the leaves. A long peduncle again. Pinnae are variable. Sometimes they're almost straight. Sometimes they're slightly falcated. This is Areca guppiana. This is Chamaedorea macrocarpa. This is Vicia murilli. Johannes Tasmania altifront. Clinostigma. Ariardia. Or Chamaedorea pittirii. Chamaedorea tepehilote. Chamaedorea hagenoria. Chamaedorea decuriana. Chamaedorea anomospadix. Also in this area is Orbignia, Shippia, concolor. Opsiandra Maya or Gaussia Maya. Crossphylla argentea.
Well, I've always been interested in plants. When I was very young, I was growing plants. So then when I graduated from high school, I studied horticulture in college, at Cal Poly Pomona. And then I got my graduate degree at the University of Hawaii. And I worked in Hawaii for about 6 years after I graduated. I worked in the botanical garden and then the nursery industry. And then I moved back to California, worked in the nursery industry for 3 years, and then I landed this job with the university.
After his jungle adventures, the real work begins. Experiments will need to be conducted and research published. Here at a field station in Irvine, California, my father studies palms and their patterns of growth.
And your dad always accosts me of not having data sheets, not being prepared, not knowing what I'm doing. And usually I don't bring a data sheet, so your father has to pull out some paper and we write things down on paper. And I'm sure he's prepared for that eventuality today. But what he doesn't know is I actually did bring a data sheet today. So are you going to ask for the data sheet?
You don't have them.
Yes, I do. Actually, I don't. Marin has them.
Yeah, but you're very disorganized. I told you to bring pruning tools, calipers, meter sticks, things to mark new leaves, data sheets, plot maps. Did you do that?
Some of it. You know, according to you, I practically have Alzheimer's disease.
You know what? It's not too far from it, I think.
Well, I want to remind you, who doesn't have any gray hair?
I don't color my hair.
I don't color my hair.
Can you remind me what how it's laid out here? It's
Yeah,
just
well,
two
I don't do
rows.
naked push-ups at night either.
Let's not get into that.
While you're working, you know what? I don't want that bagel.
This is a perfectly fresh bagel from Vaughn's. You know, I got this at 6 in the morning.
Well, you should eat it.
Well, I'm offering it to you because I'm going to eat it.
Good.
You don't like that I handled it, do you? If I hadn't have touched it, you probably would have taken it.
That's got nothing to do with it.
It is. You don't like that I've touched it. How about this energy bar?
That's pretty close.
Put it aside, it's interesting.
Wow. Started exuding something.
Yeah, I saw some of these had sap coming out of them.
I don't know what that is.
Sap.
It looks really weird.
I love weird things.
This looks like disease, but these
It's almost as weird as you wear in that lab coat.
look like they're. You know, I think I see some conidia in here.
No, you don't. You're talking smack.
I see some conidia and some rhizophores.
Yeah, you got that term wrong too.
Pycnidia, that's the word. I was
Okay,
looking
all right,
for.
you got that.
Look at him. He's jealous.
Let me see it.
He's so
got-
effing envious that I could say pycnidia.
You got the other two wrong though, so I feel okay about it.
Conidia, I know what conidia
See
are.
this?
Conidia is a correct term.
Yes, but you can't see them very well.
I have very good vision for up close.
It just looks like sap.
Yeah, but look at the way it's.
Little black thing.
Yeah, it's oozing, and it's worth a picture, no doubt. Okay. Palm pus.
Yeah.
Marin, he was so envious that you said pycnidia and I said conidia.
Did she say pycnidia? You sure you're not hungry for the uneaten fresh bagel?
Yeah.
The real jungle begins when it is time for his work to be published. His work has been published in the form of 4 books, including Exceptional Trees of Los Angeles, Chamaedorea Palms, The Palms of New Caledonia, and The Palms and Cycads of Thailand, his recent and most controversial.
Went to Thailand 3 times, spent over 3 months there, went from Malaysia in the south to Laos and Burma in the north and the west. Going around with a Thai man who knew the forests very well to take photographs and write descriptions of all the native palms. Actually, I'm very proud of this book. I wrote up the manuscript and it was published, which covers about 170 species of Thai palms, and it's all in color, hardbound, just like my other 3 books. And it's the first comprehensive treatment of Thai palms, and the first really well illustrated treatment of palms from Asia in terms of color photographs. And all those trips, I have very fond memories of being in the forest, looking for palms, and it's just a really great experience. I think I'm happiest when I'm in the forest looking for palms, photographing them, writing notes about them. But this one, I had a lot of people against me.
In 1996, one of the editors of Palms, a journal published by the International Palm Society, was asked to write a book about the palms of Thailand. He refused, and the offer was turned over to my father, who accepted the title of director and senior author without commission or revenue. Before proceeding his trips and writing, he asked the editor of Palms to join him as co-author, but he refused for unspecified reasons. When the book was published and became a hit in the plant world, the editor, who originally declined the project, wrote and published a negative review in his own journal. The review was confusing and embarrassingly false. For example, my father's book is about what the title reads, The Palms and Cycads of Thailand. The editor criticized my father for the book not being about herbariums. Furthermore, the editor wrote, "Perhaps the most unfortunate aspect of the book is that it appears to have been written without any contact being made with very active palm botanists Guan and Qi." In his plain-as-day wording, my father's book constantly mentions and cites his work with these colleagues. At the close of the article, the editor wrote that in his writing, my father showed a certain irresponsibility, and it could have been written honestly and rapidly without compromising. His unusual and false comments are a few of his many odd remarks. Luckily, they were scoffed at by readers.
I was able to write they did publish my rebuttal, but it wasn't nearly as strong or as accurate as my first version, which they wouldn't publish.
Despite this, my father loves palms so much, he continues his work unabashed and is still respected by plant enthusiasts. I have only a few fleeting memories of our plane trips, waterfalls, temples, and palms. And although I have studied the books, videos, journals, and my father, he and his love of palms still serves as a mystery to me. I appreciate plants, and I too think they are beautiful, but I cannot begin to understand his love for them. Myself nor my father can explain his love or abilities. Maybe it's the beauty, the mystery, or the history. Perhaps it's the adventure and the discovery. I just know that his love for them exists, and it will always be with him. For the bright red seeds, the misty green of the fronds, and the hot tropics where they grow are all a part of him, for he is Chamaedorea Don.
It's about 35 degrees outside and dropping down. It's probably going to freeze tonight. And I just keep thinking about what a successful trip we had, the great pictures we got for the Chamaedorea book. And as I have the heater in the house up full blast, I'm thinking that I can't wait to get back to the tropics and look for Chamaedorea palms again.
Two female, one male. So we're going to cut the male down. That's the male pika feather that we cut.
Heavy. Sad. I'm crying about this. I never thought I'd have to cut down a pika feather.